Hi, I'm Megan McMillan with the Student ASVAB program here for the state of Arkansas, and today I'm going to go over your summary result sheets with you so that you have an idea of what it is that your scores mean as far as these sheets go, and then I'm going to give you directions on how to use your Exploring Career Guide. So first of all, if you pull out the purple paper here, basically it's going to give you a couple of pieces of information. Number one is the percentile scores here in the sort of purplish columns. And that's going to give you a rank for each one of the subtests that you took for science, auto shop, whatever it might have been. And it's going to rank you from 1 to 99 versus not only your grade level, but also versus females of your grade level and males of your grade level. It's important to know where you stand, especially when you're dealing with competition in the workforce or competition with going to college. If you can score in the 25 percentile range, meaning that you have a 75 or higher as a percentile score, that means that you're very competitive in that field. And that's something to think about if you're thinking about your future. Over here, in sort of this gray bar area, you're going to take a look here. And on the ASVAB, a score of 50 is the average. So 50 is the average score, and so anything that's above a 50, like saying 60 or 70, that's going to be above average, and that means that that is actually a strength. So this is a strength that you would have, and then if you're going to move to the other side of the column, if you have below a 50 in a certain range, that actually means that you're not doing as well. And it might not be that you don't know it exactly. It might be that you've never had any experience. Like, for example, I have no knowledge of cars, so my car and auto shop information section would be terrible. It says nothing about me as a person, just that I have no experience with it. The ASVAB test itself is an aptitude test, and so as a result, as long as you have an aptitude to do something, it just shows that you have the ability to do it and that it's really a strength. And with the ASVAB program, it really shows where maybe you have hidden strengths, like maybe you didn't know you were so good at verbal. Over here at the very bottom, if you are interested in the military, right now the score for the National Guard, the Army, and the Marine Corps is a 31. The Navy is around a 40, and the Air Force is not looking at anyone who doesn't have above a 50. So if you want to look right here, that's going to tell you your military entrance score if you are interested in going into the military. Now, if you're on a computer while you're watching this, you can go ahead and go to this website down here at the bottom at asvabprograms.com. And you can enter in the code that's above it. It's called a user code, and it's right here at the top of this little column over here. And right in the center of the screen, you can go ahead and just enter in your user code, and you can take what's called the FYI. If you don't have access to a computer, you can go ahead and use the paper version of the FYI, which is Find Your Interest Inventory, and it's in the very back page of the Exploring Careers Guide. So if you're going to do it on paper, all you want to do is go through the 90 items and mark whether you like, you're indifferent, or you dislike the activity. Now, I do suggest that you don't mark that you dislike all the way down. Like if you're a complete hater, I don't recommend that you do that because it won't give you any scores at all. So try to be realistic. If you absolutely hate it, like the thought of getting on stage makes you want to throw up, then you dislike it. So mark that you dislike it. If you like something, go ahead and mark that you like it, and anything else, go through and mark an I. Now, if you are doing it on paper, it's really important that you press down hard because this is carbon paper, so it needs to transfer over to the next page. And then from there, you're going to want to tear off this individual side here, okay? And with that, once you have your scores circled, on the next page, what you're going to see are your circled scores. Now, if you did press down hard enough, then you should be able to see it come through. If you didn't press down hard enough, then you're not going to see anything, and you kind of need to flip it back over and sort of press down hard. So once you're done with that, what you're going to do is add across each of these rows. Okay, now I kind of use this like a little bit of a ruler, and then that way I don't get confused as I go down. So let's say that I had a 2, 2, and a 2 here. I want to write a 6 in this box here, and on the sort of ribboned column over here, I'd want to write a 6 as well. Now you only have to add to 6 for each of these rows, so I don't think you'll need a calculator, but if you do, you can always use one. Once you're done adding down all the rows, you're going to want to add down the columns, okay? And at the bottom of the columns, at the total of the most that you could have is a 30. And from there, once you have those columns, you're going to want to flip to the third page here, and transfer these ones at the bottom, okay, all the way to the ones at the top. And you're going to want to match whatever that number is with a percentage. So say, for example, you have a 13, okay? It'd be a 67%, and I'm going to write that down here at the bottom. With those percentage scores, I'm going to then take those scores and clearly mark which letters, okay, are associated with each of those scores. And you should come up with a 3-character code. And with that 3-character code, you'll be able to sort of start exploring careers and start looking at things that interest you. So I'm going to go over the 6 different codes just so you know them, but they start on page 6 of your booklet. Okay, and the first one is an R code, and an R stands for realistic. And a realistic person is someone who likes to sort of work with their hands and be outside, and maybe they like to build a barn, or maybe they like to cook something, or they like to work with, just pretty much anything, as long as they're outside doing something. They don't like to sit in an office. If you're an I person, that means that you like investigation, and investigation people are typically science people. They like to do things with science. The other type of person who would like investigation would be someone who was interested in, say, police work or forensic science, or somebody who was interested in, say, fire arson, an investigator, things like that. If I turn the page, I'm going to take a look at the next code, which is A, and A stands for artistic, which is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, these are people who like to build, create, film. Maybe they like painting, sculpting, computer animation, all that sort of stuff falls under artistic. The next kind over here is social, and social people don't necessarily have to be social, but they do like helping other people. So these are psychologists, psychiatrists, a lot of times their teachers end up being social, probation officers, people who like helping others. That's typically who social people are. The E code stands for enterprising, and enterprising people are people who like to work with business. They kind of enjoy the thrill of the hunt. They're sort of the persuaders of the group. They like to sort of pave their own path. You typically see lawyers and detectives or that sort of thing are going to show up in entrepreneurial type jobs. The last kind is conventional. And conventional people kind of are rule followers. They like a procedure to things. They like a step-by-step. Accountants tend to be great people. Clerks, people who keep track of money, bankers, things like that tend to be a little bit more conventional. Now, with those codes, you can take a look and see what types of jobs that actually interest you. And so what you'd want to do is flip, and starting on page 28, are where the realistic jobs start. Now, if your first interest code is realistic, then you start on the realistic page, and it's going to be right up here at the top. It's going to say what type it is. So, like, for example, if I am into artistic, I'm going to want to start on the page that says artistic at the top. So whatever that page is, you're going to want to put that at the top there. Then you're going to want to take a look and see which was your second interest code. So say I'm artistic, and I'm also realistic as my second code. So in this case, I might want to be a camera operator, okay, or maybe a cartoonist, okay, would be somebody like that, a craft artisan. Those are all kinds of different jobs that would appeal to somebody who is both artistic and realistic. And so those are some of the different types of things that you can do. Now, once you're done with that, you can go to a website, and it's called ONET Online, okay? And at the ONET Online, you can type into advanced search your interests, and you go ahead and put in whatever your top two interest codes are, and then you can hit the go button. And from there, it's going to list all the jobs that I was just talking about on the paper version. So if you are doing the paper version, that's fine, but I totally suggest that you go through and take a look at the different jobs and see, because on the ONET, it's going to tell you how much you're going to make. It's going to tell you what sort of education that you'll need. Do you need an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctorate, whatever it might be in order to be successful in that field? What is it that you need to be competitive with all the other people who currently do that job? And it's going to tell you within the state of Arkansas, and it's also going to tell you within the United States. So again, that's the ONET, and you can just Google it. It'll have a little O and then an asterisk and then net. And it's pretty easy to get to, but you can type in any kind of job that you're interested in, and it's going to have all that information there for you. If you are doing the online version with the code, you didn't have to do any of that math, which was awesome, of course. And so with the code, online code, it's going to just give you the code automatically. And so, of course, you can always go back and refer back to your little booklet here and do it by paper, take a look at what your 3 characteristics are and what sort of jobs interest you. But I recommend everybody go to the ONet and take a look and see where to start their future. That's it from me, and I thank you for listening. Have a great day.